Up people, so today we are going to explore Blender. Yeah, so we're gonna look in the Blender. I'm gonna get you started with making shapes, okay, and then we're gonna animate them. Yeah, we're gonna animate them. Yes, all within like 3 minutes. You're just gonna get in there, we're gonna take the block that it comes with, and we're just gonna animate that bitch. And once you understand how to animate the blocks, you can animate anything like this. It just takes a little bit of forethought. So if you guys are ready, let's go. Okay, when you first open this, you'll see this box, right? Okay, so what I want you to do, press the key G. Bam. Now move your mouse around. Boom. You see that? Boom. We're already animating, okay? Boom, just like that. We're in there. Already off the bat, you know how to animate something low key. You just don't realize it yet. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. In my screen, at the bottom of our screen, right, you can see that I have timeline, okay? Right, you see this timeline thing? Okay, if you go to your far bottom left right here and you click on this clock, you'll see all these options, right? I'm gonna tell you what they are real quick. So the first row, these are all the different little like screens you can look at for different techniques. So you have like shade editor, which is when you like start applying textures and stuff to your item, or if you want to build out a environment and add a whole bunch of like procedural node to generate the place, you might do it in there. I mean, you could at least shade something in there. I don't know if you could do that part, but if you definitely want to know when to do that part, that's definitely in geometry node. So I jumped the gun a little there, but you got texture mixing channel, shader editor, geometry node editor, texture node editor, compositor, which brings everything together, the UV editor, which is like when a character comes into a program, sometimes its UV is wrapped or unwrapped. That basically is like the costume it's in, its skin and stuff. That's what that's for. Image editor, image editor I've never used, but it's kind of self-explanatory. Okay, and then we got 3D viewport. This is where you're probably always going to be. So go ahead and I want you to split your screen in two. Okay, boom. All right, so it's evenly out. Now, I want you to go over here. All right, look to the far left side of my screen. You might not be able to see my mouse, but it's right here. You see how it turned into that little like crosshair? What I want you to do is click down with your left side click, and then scoot to your right while dragging. So hold the mouse click down. You ready? Oh, hold on. That did not go as planned. But look, boom, son, boom. Now we got two different rooms it can work out of. What I like to do is sometimes you need something in your camera view, right? So your camera right here, and then right here I like to use for when I'm like putting stuff together and I want to make it look good and all that good stuff. Maybe move the box, and then up here the front is where I get to see everything all together, and of course I can mess with stuff there as well, just like I can here. Okay, so now you know how to open multiple screens on your screen. You don't know how to close them, which I'm about to show you. Because you know how to move stuff with the letter G, right? And then you know how to also open multiple screens so you can work on something. These are very important for when you're following others' tutorials, mostly because that's what they'll be doing. They won't be saying anything, but that's what they'll be doing. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna show you how to get rid of a screen. So you see these little lines between each little screen? I want you to, hover right between and right click. Okay, you see how it says join areas, swamp areas? We're gonna go with join areas. We're gonna have that area join this area, and then boom, look. So now you got rid of a thing, okay? So here's the other thing you need to know. Right here, if you hover again and you click, you're gonna do the same thing. Boom. Now you just have two screens, and you could keep doing this until you only have one screen, or you could keep dividing this until you have multiple screens, okay? So now that you know all of this information, which again, if I said it's too fast, you can just look at my screen and you can play this a lot slower. Anyway, okay, so we're in here, we got our stuff. And now what I'm gonna do is show you how to get the timeline. So go over to the far left side. I know you see this, it doesn't look like a clock, but that's because it's in a 3D editor. That's what this icon means. We're gonna go down to timeline, okay? So click on timeline. You can also press, I guess, what is it, F12 or Shift 12? Shift 12 for that? I never do that. That seems like a terrible solution to that. Anyway, okay, you guys ready to animate? Because I'm ready to animate. All right, let's go. Here's what you're gonna do. First things first, click this little button right here. Bam. It's gonna turn blue. Okay, what this means is now it's recording anything that you do keyframe rise. So what does that mean? So I want you to go click on your object. You click on the square or the cube if you want to call it that. Press G, okay? Then move it around a little bit and then click. All right. You'll notice at the bottom of your screen, you get this little yellow diamond, right? And then on your far right side of the screen, you have all these things turned yellow. What that means is it's a keyframe set, okay? Now, look at the bottom, back at the bottom of your screen. You can see here we've got 1 all the way to 240, 250, right? This is cool, but you might not know what that means. Basically, you're going from, 0 frames to 250 frames, right? So what I want you to do is since you were on the first frame, you moved your item, you should see that yellow little diamond. I want you to move your frame by clicking on the blue little thing that I'm clicking on at the bottom of the screen with the numbers. The number's gonna change inside of the thing that you're dragging. Drag it out to like 60, okay? Now what I want you to do is go back, click on your square, press G, and then boom. Yeah, you see that? Okay. So now, I want you to go back and click on the frame right here at the bottom, the blue thing that I haven't clicked on. And now I want you to drag slowly back to the left. You see that? We just animated this bad boy. So now I want you to take it back to 0 and then press spacebar. Bam. Y'all see that? That's all we gotta do. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go and make a cool animation knowing this information. I'm gonna do the same thing, take like 30 seconds, and I'm just gonna move this object around. Okay, something else I need to tell you. You can probably see in my screen at the bottom left here, you can see it says middle. That's basically using the scroll wheel to change my orientation. So boom, you see this? I can zoom in with the scroll wheel, and I can also change it pivoting on an axis, okay? That might be helpful, it might not, it usually is. Okay, so let's go to 180. We're gonna move this bad boy over here, press G, bam. And then we're going to bam, bam. Okay, so everything is done. Just about go to 250 and move it one more time. Move right back to center, okay? So now what I want you to do is you can press this little arrow to take you all the way back to the beginning if you want. All right, I want you to pivot so you can see everything, and now press spacebar. And what you should see is your thing animating. Yeah, shawty, you see that? Yeah. Yeah, so you see it just like that. We already made an animation. You're good to go. Now, this information is important because you could sub in anything you wanted for the square. Now, when you start subbing in like things like characters instead of the square, you're gonna have to rig it. What that means is you basically make bones for a character, and then you parent the character to those bones and then animate those bones. There's a whole nother lesson that we'll get into later, but all you need to know is this is the most basic way to animate something in Blender. So you should be able to get in here and do that. And if you cannot, message me because I will help you. All right, cool. Until next time. I'll see you for the next lesson.